kick off this review with the design and build of the Alcatel Fierce 4. You got your power button, your volume up and down button on the right hand side. Take a look at the bottom of the device. You got a mic and you have your charging port as well. Moving on to the left hand side, there is absolutely nothing. And up on top is your headphone jack and a noise cancellation mic as well. Turning the device over, you got a 8 megapixel rear facing camera, flash, Alcatel branding there. Now this back is made out of plastic, but it does have a very nice brushed metal look to it. And your backfiring speakers. Now this back is removable, which is going to give you access to your micro SD card and your SIM card slot as well. And also your 2500 non-removable battery. Design wise, I absolutely love the way it looks. So let's take a look at the home screen here. Kind of navigate around. I'm going to try to show you everything I can possibly show you in this full review. Take a look at the Google folder here. It's going to give you access to your Gmail, Maps, Hangouts, Photos. Jump into the app drawer here. You can kind of see some of the pre-installed applications, for instance, like Twitter, T-Mobile, Name ID, and Mobile Hotspot, just to name a few. Exit out of there. You do have your back, home, and then your recent apps button there. And this device also has 2 gigabytes of RAM and also the Snapdragon 210. Now moving on to the messaging application here, text messaging, phone calls, there were no issues, call quality was very clear. I'll just kind of show you some of the pre-installed emojis there. Go ahead and exit out of that. Also, let me just clarify that the home button is actually not the notification light. There's actually a small little notification light on the upper left-hand corner of the device. Now this also has a flashlight option when you pull down the status bar there, screenshot option, auto rotate, location. You can adjust the brightness from the status toolbar there. Go ahead and show you the screenshot and it works perfect. I absolutely love that. And holding down the recent apps button will give you quick access to settings, wallpaper. Let's go ahead and just kind of go through settings here real quick just so I can kind of show you exactly everything what this device has to offer here. So let's jump into display. So you actually have a screen mode option here where you can change the color temperature, vivid mode, a natural mode, have it look more cool, more warm. Absolutely love the fact that you can adjust the color temperature of your display, and it works excellent, I'm telling you. So moving on from that, you also get press the power key twice to launch the camera, ambient display. Go ahead and jump into lock screen here and you can actually have a message on your lock screen, whatever you want it to say. Go ahead and back up out of there. Like I mentioned, the LED indication light is up on the left hand side there. You get 16 gigabytes of onboard memory with this, so that's excellent, a good amount of storage. Battery life has been good. I've been getting around 4 hours screen on time, so no issues with the battery there. And then you got some other functions there, some other gestures that you can add to your Alcatel Fierce 4 here. Let's go to About Phone, and this is rocking Android 6.0.1 Marshmallow out of the box. And that's gonna provide the good battery life, the good screen on time with Doze on board. So I'm going to show you another cool feature which I really like is called Color Catcher, and there's a whole library of different options to choose from, some pre-made. You can actually make your own, and I'm going to show you an example really quick of how, if you're kind of getting bored with the layout, you can switch it up, you can change it. It changes the icons, and there's different themes to choose from. And I really like this option, I really do like it. So instead of going to the Play Store and just downloading a different launcher, you just go to this option here, Color Catcher, and you can switch it up to your liking. Now moving on to the camera. So we got a 8 megapixel rear facing camera that shoots in 720p resolution. I'll show you the front facing camera there, which is 5 megapixels, and I'm not really big on selfies, so I'm just going to give you a little sample here how it looks. But viewing angles look really nice, and you got some different modes there to choose from. Me personally, I like the camera. I like the way it shoots. It's a good 8 megapixel camera. You got some other options here in the camera settings. So GPS tagging, shutter sound, show you the video quality. So 720p is the highest resolution you're going to be able to shoot videos in. So just keep that in mind. But I actually really like the camera. I'm going to go ahead and show you some sample footage, all shots taken on this camera. So let's move on to the display, the sound quality, and watching YouTube videos on this. And all of that is really nice on this device. 720p resolution, but it looks super nice. And the fact that you can kind of adjust the screen mode and the color temperature and the settings, it just makes the screen even more vibrant and pop. So 720p looks really sharp on this, and sound quality is actually good. Actually really good sound quality. Even for it being a backfiring speaker, the sound quality sounds pretty good to me. But overall, viewing angles are nice, and it's a nice 5.5-inch display, so you're going to have really nice viewing experience on this device. So go ahead and kind of play this video so you can kind of get an idea of how this will look if it is in your hand and you're watching a YouTube video there. But no complaints at all with the display. So moving on from YouTube, I actually ran the Geekbench 4, but before I show you the numbers, let me kind of give you some system information here. So this is rocking the Qualcomm Snapdragon 210 with the Adreno 304, pixel count of 267. Now this device does not have NFC, and it does not have a gyroscope as well. So the results of the Geekbench 4 is single core score 388 and multi-core score of 1004. So I know those aren't super high numbers, but this device can actually perform very, very well. For this being, depending where you pick it up, either $70 or $99, it actually performs very well. Now let's go ahead and move on to gameplay on the Alcatel Fierce 4. So I actually downloaded several different games, but I'm going to show you this one right here, Asphalt 8, and it was actually able to run it pretty smooth. There was no overheating issues. I didn't even really notice any drops in frames or anything like that. So I was pretty impressed, because I thought for sure the Fierce 4 was going to struggle playing this game, but it really didn't, and it actually ran this game pretty smooth. I'll show you some gameplay here on the Fierce 4, but honestly, gameplay, it actually plays very well. And of course, with like Temple Run, Subway Surfers, those type of games run super smooth, no issues whatsoever. So I'll show you a little bit of gameplay here. Alright, so I know I'm terrible at that game, just want to let you guys know. Alright, so let's move on to outdoor visibility with the Alcatel Fierce 4. So one thing I noticed with this IPS LCD touchscreen is it's very, very reflective, and I noticed the same exact thing when I was reviewing the Alcatel Pop 4S. There's just something about these displays when you're outdoors, you just get so much reflection. So for me personally, when I go outdoors, especially in direct sunlight, I got the brightness cranked up all the way to 100, so just keep that in mind. So my final thoughts on the Alcatel Fierce 4, I think it's a pretty good solid device. It has a nice display, 5.5-inch display. Even though this is a 720p resolution, the 720p looks nice on this. It does look nice. Decent camera, 8 megapixel in the back, 5 in the front. Has 2 gigabytes of RAM. The Snapdragon 210 can actually perform pretty well. Just keep in mind you don't want to have a whole lot of apps running in the background. That is really going to slow the Fierce 4 down. So just make sure those are cleared as often as you can. Solid battery life, 2500 milliamps. I'm getting 4 hours of screen on time. There are some compromises, you know, because this is being sold for $99 at T-Mobile. So if you spend a little bit more, you can get a little bit extra, like a fingerprint scanner, maybe NFC or 1080p resolution. But, you know, overall, a pretty solid device. Would I recommend it? Yeah, sure. It's a good device. All right, well, that was my full review. If you guys enjoyed it, hit that thumbs up button. And if you haven't, please subscribe to more future videos. This is Paul Tech, and I'll talk to you on the next one.